Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today, I'm going to be sharing my Sephora savings event recommendations, and we have a lot. But before we get into it, I do want to say a huge thank you to Louisa for working with me on a portion of today's video. If you're not familiar, Louisa is a sustainable but affordable jewelry brand based out of New York City, and I have been wearing their pieces for several years now. And I just love them so much. What makes them special to me is that they create very wearable everyday pieces that are also just dainty and elegant, and they're just so easy to wear and reach for every day without ever feeling like too much. So I am a very lazy girl when it comes to my jewelry. I am known to put on my pieces and sort of forget about them for a couple of days before forgetting to take them out or change them. And what this means for me is that I need to invest in good quality pieces because my ears get irritated very, very easily, and my skin is also very sensitive. So I need jewelry that I know is not going to irritate my ears, that is not going to irritate my skin or change color or turn my skin colors. And Louisa pieces have never ever done this. So for example, I have had this pair of earrings for quite a while. I don't remember their name and I don't think they have them anymore, because I've just had them that long. And if you're familiar with my channel, you have definitely seen me wear these earrings, and I wear them all the time because they're the perfect mix between not so tiny that they're barely there, but they're not so giant that they're getting caught on everything. And they have this cute little knot here so that it's like a fun spin on a basic hoop. There's just a beautiful, elegant gold hoop that I can wear every single day. And like I said, they never ever irritate my ears. Most recently, I picked up the Hayden necklace, which I absolutely love. It's like a basic gold chain, but with a bit of a spin, just the way the links are created. I think it's so, so pretty, and I feel like a gold chain, or even just a silver chain, if that's what you're more into, can just really elevate your everyday. So I love that. And I most recently picked up the Ivor ring, which I've also been loving because much like the necklace, it's a basic gold band, but it's got these fun little links. And their pieces are also stackable and very easy to customize if that's what you're into. What I also love and adds so much value to their pieces is that they're all backed by a 2-year warranty. So if they do tarnish or break or do anything that they're not supposed to, they are covered by that 2-year warranty. So I think that adds so much value. And what's even more exciting is that their pieces start at $39. So again, I love them so, so much. They do also now have a solid gold collection as well as a diamond collection, and those pieces are absolutely gorgeous as well. So of course, I will leave my link down below at the top of the description box if there is anything you're interested in purchasing. And thank you again to Louisa for working with me on today's video. Let's get into my Sephora recommendations. All right, I'm going to try to get through these relatively quickly because we do have a lot of products to talk about. I think I'm going to start with hair care, we'll get into skincare, my nail recommendations, and then we will finish up with the makeup. So the shampoo and conditioner I use regularly are not from Sephora, but a clarifying shampoo that I've absolutely been loving is from Amama. And this is the Reset Clarifying Gel Shampoo. And I love this because it does have like a really nice pump instead of a cap that you have to fight with. I don't know about you, but when I'm in the shower and I am trying to get caps open, it gets really difficult sometimes. I don't know why. It's nice to have a pump in the shower. That's all I'm saying. This is actually really, really nice. I really do feel like this does such a great job of cleansing my hair, clarifying, but not stripping my hair, and it doesn't strip my color, which is also an absolute plus. When you pay money for your color, the last thing you want to do is get in the shower and just be stripping your hair. So you do want to make sure that you are using something to clarify and remove all the impurities, all the product buildup, and cleanse your scalp, but something that is also not going to strip. And I do feel like this does such a great job. I absolutely have been enjoying this one, and it doesn't have a weird smell like the way detox shampoo. So that was another point for this one. I have been really loving this one. And my other go-to hair product from Amama has been the Soul Food Nourishing Mask. I love this so much. So first of all, this smells really good. It has almost like a citrus kind of scent, but it does smell very, very good. You get a ton of product in here. This is so intensely nourishing and hydrating. So I do use this in place of my conditioner, and I usually use it the same days that I do this. So I don't clarify every single time. I wash my hair about once every 4 to 5 days. So every other wash, I use this. And then I will also follow with my Lolavi shampoo, and then I will go in with this. And my hair just feels so soft and nourished and hydrated, and I can tell once I've dried my hair that I use this because my hair has been absolutely loving this. And the last few times I have seen my stylist, she has noted that my hair is definitely getting healthier. So we're definitely doing something right, and my hair just absolutely loves this, so I would highly, highly recommend this. My number one go-to SPF has been the Paula's Choice SPF 50 5% Vitamin C Sheer Moisturizer. I use this every single morning. You can see I am about halfway done with this one. They actually sent this to me, and I am so, so, so grateful. This, like I said, it's just a really light moisturizer for every single day, but it also has SPF 50. It also has vitamin C. It's also sheer, but what makes it special is that you can see on the back of my hand is that it's actually sort of tinted. So I don't find that it gives me that same white cast that other SPF products can. And I believe they also have one that is better for oily skin types and one for normal skin types. I believe this is the one that says it's great for all skin types. But I really love this one, and I would definitely purchase this as a daily SPF once I'm done with it. And then a product I have recommended over and over and over again is from Lancome. This is the Advanced Genifique Youth Activating Concentrate. I've used this for years, and I love it so much. I think it makes my skin so healthy, and it evens out my natural skin tone so much. I always notice such a difference when I use this, and I also find that I have a lot less breakouts when I use this consistently. This is just one of my all-time favorite skincare products that I don't like when I don't have it in my routine. And for nails, I'm pretty sure I recommend these every savings event. I have to go with Glamnetic. I love, love, love Glamnetic press-ons. I know that Sephora has a pretty limited inventory of their press-ons. They have only a few styles. Their website has so many more. Ulta has a lot more, and I love these so much. This is the set I'm currently wearing, and I have mine in the shade Merlot. So these are just really pretty. They're like a really pretty burgundy with a glossy French tip. So I absolutely love the Glamnetic nails. I can't recommend these enough. These are by far the very best press-on nails I have ever used. I have tried lots of others, and I just don't find that any are as thick and durable as these. So I always do recommend my Glamnetic nails. Let's try to be a little bit quicker about going through the makeup, but I will of course leave everything linked down below. The priming step that I want to recommend is from Dior. This is the Forever Glow Star Filter. If I'm not using this, I'm always using the Refer Intense Hydration Cream, but if I do want a glowy base, this is my absolute 100% go-to. I love this even more than the Charlotte Tilbury. The reason I love this so much is because, first of all, you get a pump with it, which I think is so lovely, but also it doesn't have that almost metallic leaning glow that I feel that the Charlotte Tilbury does. This just gives the skin such a beautiful, radiant glow. Like I said, it's not too much. It's just a very flattering glow, and I absolutely love this product. Foundations. A foundation I've been raving about for a couple years at this point because I believe it came out maybe 2 years ago. This is from NARS. This is the Light Reflecting Foundation. I have mine in the shade Mont Blanc. This is my holy grail all-time favorite foundation. Nothing beats this for me. It's what I have on today. I love this foundation. It's a medium coverage, but it just gives the skin such a healthy finish. It does give a slight glow, but it's not too much at all. It just makes the skin look so healthy and radiant, and every time I wear this foundation, I'll catch myself in the mirror and I'll always think how great my skin looks that day, and it's always because I'm wearing this. I love the way this blends. I love how it wears on my skin throughout the day. everything about this foundation I absolutely love. I've been raving about it for years, and if you're familiar with my channel, you are not surprised to see this here. A recent product I've really come to love is from Huda Beauty, and this is the Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation. What I absolutely love about this is that you can get a high medium coverage with it, and it's a matte foundation. But it is not heavy or uncomfortable on my dry skin. I have very dry skin. This is so comfortable and so lightweight. It does not feel like you're wearing anything on the skin, but it also gives that coverage and it dries down to a beautiful matte finish. I'm kind of done with the super glowy foundations. The NARS is not too glowy, so I don't count it in that sort of realm, but I am done with these overly super glowy foundations. That's just not what I love, and I'm really excited to see matte foundations coming back around. That being said, as a dry skin type, it's also a little bit scary because when I think matte foundation, I think back to 2016 matte foundations that were so heavy and cakey and uncomfortable and almost painful on dry skin. This is not that. This is an absolute gem. I also tried the One Size foundation and I really do enjoy that, but I think between the two of them, this one sort of comes out on top. It's a tight race, but this one does come out on top for me. I just love how incredibly lightweight it is. And the last foundation is a stick foundation. This is the Fenty Beauty Ease Drop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick. I have the shade 2. I should mention in the Huda, I have the shade 120B. But in the Fenty stick, I have shade 2. So I have had shade 1 for a while, and I knew I really liked the formula, but that shade was definitely too light. I ended up picking up shade 2 and realized that this is truly my favorite foundation stick. I've been on a mission to find the very best foundation stick that's going to work with my dry skin because I love the idea of a foundation stick because I find it so much more convenient and quick. And stick foundations can be a little bit challenging for dry skin because they can be on the drier side. This one is not. This one is so beautiful. This gives me such a beautiful medium coverage. It blends out like an absolute dream. It looks so beautiful and hydrating on my skin. It's so comfortable. You can see I've already used quite a bit of this, and that is where it stops. I just purchased this stick back in August and I have already used at least half of it. So I absolutely love this. I think that speaks for itself as to how much I absolutely love this foundation stick. It's just been my go-to for every single day just because of how quick and simple and easy it is. I can't say enough good things about this one. For concealers, I have to mention my all-time favorite, the Natasha Denona High Glam. I love this because it gives me a full coverage, but it's hydrating and it's so easy to blend. It blends out so beautifully and buttery and it's just perfect while also giving me that coverage and feeling like it just sort of melts into my skin. I absolutely love this concealer. However, it's not available at Sephora Canada, so unfortunately Canadians cannot get it. But a similar concealer that I like almost as much is actually from Laura Mercier, and this is the Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Concealer. I tried this one more toward the beginning of the year and I really like it, and I've been using it a lot recently because I recently remembered how much I enjoy this. Very similar to the Natasha Denona. I would say this one is a tiny bit more hydrating. My one complaint about this one is that it does seem to get messy around the cap for some reason. So that's just a packaging flaw that annoys me a little bit, but otherwise, this is also a fantastic concealer. This one I would say has a high medium coverage. It blends beautifully. It wears so well throughout the day. And I am N1 in the Natasha Denona and 1C1 in the Laura Mercier. These are both fantastic concealers. On the more light to medium coverage spectrum, I have two concealers. If you're in Canada, I highly recommend the new MAC Studio Radiance 24-Hour Luminous Lift Concealer. This is such a beautiful one. This one is more light to medium coverage, very hydrating, and probably the most crease-proof concealer I have ever used. I have the shade NW10. This is a great shade match for me. The packaging on this is beautiful, and like I said, this is probably one of the most crease resistant concealers I have ever used. I love this so much. A very similar option to the MAC is actually the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Lift and Flex Concealer. I have the shade 1. I really like this one for a lot of the same reasons as the MAC. It's a light to medium coverage. It blends very easily. Both wear very well throughout the day. They're both super lightweight and super hydrating. They're both very similar. If I had to pick one I like more, I would probably say the MAC because it's just a tiny bit more crease resistant, but they are both incredible in that regard as well. They're both fantastic concealers. For powders, I am still absolutely sideways over the fact that Givenchy ruined my beloved powder. So I've been on a mission to find one better. And honestly, the Pat McGrath Under Eye Powder has been it for me recently, and I absolutely love that one, but I do not recommend Pat McGrath in these videos because she has far better sales on her website. That being said, some options I found at Sephora that have really impressed me are the Tower 28 Get Set powder in the shade Palisades Pink. You don't have to get the same shade, but that's the one I have, and I really like this. The one thing I don't love is that it doesn't have a mirror, which is something I just love to have in a powder compact, because with the powder compact, I do love to sometimes throw them in my purse. So I do wish there was a mirror. However, I really love this powder. This is a very finely milled powder. It is very lightweight. It doesn't look heavy or cakey. It doesn't cling to dry patches, and it does a really beautiful job just setting the under eyes and sort of blurring the other areas. And I think it's a fantastic powder. It's so beautiful. I also finally tried out the Huda Beauty Loose Baking and Setting Powder in the shade Cherry Blossom Cake. I actually think this is fantastic as well. I was afraid of this one for the longest time because a lot of people said that this was maybe a little too heavy for dry skin. I think that is very likely, especially if you are into baking, but if you're just trying to set your makeup, I think this is amazing. This is probably one of the most blurring powders I have ever used. After the Givenchy, the original Givenchy is top tier, but this one is also fantastic. For setting spray, I don't have anything new to recommend. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray is still my #1 favorite. I finally had to break and invest in a full-size bottle because I've gone through so many of the minis, but this is just an absolute staple. I love this. This is just my perfect hybrid between the hydration of the MAC Fix Plus and the long wearing power of the Urban Decay All Nighter. This combines the best of both worlds, and it's fantastic. For highlighters, I haven't tried a ton of highlighters this year, but one that I always come back to is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Glow Glide Face Architect Highlighter. I love this. I actually have it in 3 different shades. My favorite shade is Moonlit Glow, and this is one that is just so beautiful. You can definitely build it up to be a very blinding highlight, but it's also just a very smooth formula, so I believe it's flattering on all different skin types, whereas some just really enhance texture. This one really doesn't. It's just a fantastic, very sophisticated highlighter formula. But another highlighter I discovered this year is from Fenty. This is the Demi Glow Light Diffusing Highlighter. I have this shade Pretty Pearls. I am wearing this one today, and I absolutely have been loving this one so much. Very much like the Charlotte Tilbury is a very smooth formula, so even though it can be very glowy, it doesn't have glittery particles in it, and it's not going to enhance texture in a really negative way. It's just a really beautiful, soft formula. This one, though, is definitely much more blinding, so you do want to be careful with it when you first go in. One thing I will say, too, is that these are very soft, so you will want to be careful if you're ordering online. Sometimes these do come broken. Sephora is great, though, when you report broken products. They're very quick about it. Okay, getting into bronzers. 2 cream bronzers that I've talked about a ton. My absolute favorite contour stick is the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick. I have the shade Biscuit. I love this one so much. Very blendable and easy to work with. It's not too stiff like some other bronzer and contour sticks. And the shade Biscuit I love because it does have that more reddish undertone to it, which on my very fair skin I really love, because more often than not those of us with fair skin are either neutral or cool leaning. Not always, but most of the time. And I find that to be so flattering because it makes sure that it does not pull orange, but it gives that more natural sun-kissed sort of look. And I think that's so flattering. A cream bronzer I've talked about a ton is the NARS Laguna Bronzing Cream. I have the shade Laguna 01. This is also one of my absolute favorites. This is a bit more of a thick sort of moussey formula. And once again, it's just so incredibly buttery and blendable. It just sort of blends right into the skin. I feel like it just sinks right in and looks so natural and just beautiful. I love working with this cream bronzer. A liquid bronzer that stole my heart this year is from Say. This is the Dew Bronze, and I never thought I would like a liquid bronzer, but the way I love this one, this is such a fantastic formula. So it does have a really nice little doe foot, but the way that this bronzer actually blends on the skin is just so incredibly easy. It doesn't blend so easy that it just blends away, almost like the new Makeup by Mario. I really do like the Makeup by Mario, but it can almost blend away, whereas this doesn't do that, but it does blend out beautifully and it can look very natural, but you can also build it up to get more of a sculpt, and it is so easy to work with. I was afraid of a liquid bronzer. I did not think it would be that easy, but this makes it so easy. My absolute top powder bronzers this year, I have the Lancome Skin Transforming Bronzer. I love this so much. First of all, the tortoiseshell packaging is a favorite. I have the shade Fair, and I love this so much. I am wearing it today. It is just such a buttery smooth formula, and this shade is absolutely perfect for my skin tone. I do believe they also have a pretty solid shade range in these bronzers, so you can definitely find something that is going to work for you. Again, just very easy to blend and work with. It does not pull orange on my fair skin, and it just gives me almost like a natural bronze, which I absolutely love. And it's never patchy. It cooperates with anything I'm using. I absolutely love this. And I have also been loving the YSL All Hours Hyper Bronze. I also have this one in shade 1. The packaging on this one also unmatched. Another very buttery smooth formula. The shade range on this one isn't as good as the Lancome. I believe they only have 4 shades in this one, but this shade in particular also super beautiful, does not pull orange. It's definitely very light and buildable like the Lancome. It's just so easy to work with, very user-friendly, very foolproof, which I just love so much because it takes nothing to be paying attention or lost in thought about something and overblend with the bronzer, whereas this is just so incredibly easy and beautiful and fun to work with. I love both of these bronzers so much. You can't go wrong with either one of them. When it comes to blush, I had a hard time because I feel like I tried a lot of blushes this year. One of my absolute favorites is the Patrick Ta Duo in Not Too Much. The reason I love Not Too Much is because it's not too much. So this is the one I'm wearing right now. This one isn't too cool. It's not too warm. It's just right in the middle. This is just the perfect shade. It'll go with any look. So I don't feel like I have to overthink it too much. The cream shade in here is perfect as well to lock it in. I don't always use the cream, but I do use the powder so much. I love this duo. This is probably my favorite shade he's ever created. Like I said, it's just the absolute perfect shade for me. The Fenty Beauty Fenty Cheeks Suede Powder Blushes are also a fantastic formula. I have mine in the shade Bacon Cakes, which is kind of like a mauve, which I do love a good mauve blush. I love this. So this is like a suede formula. It almost feels like a cream. It blends on like a powder, and then it just gives sort of like a watercolor look to the cheeks, the way it just sort of melts right into the skin, which I absolutely love. This one is really pigmented though, so you do want to be careful, especially if you're as fair as I am, because it is very easy to go overboard. That being said, it's an absolutely stunning formula. And the other favorite blush I want to mention is from Dior. I know some people think these are very overrated, but I am specifically mentioning the shade Rosewood. I love this one for a lot of the same reasons that I love the Fenty. The way this just goes on my skin, this is definitely more rosy shade. This is definitely one I do tend to gravitate more toward in the winter months, in the colder months. But once again, even though this is a powder blush, it goes on the skin and it kind of looks like a cream, just the way that it sinks right into the skin. And like I said, it has that almost watercolor effect to it, which I just absolutely love. So I really, really love the Dior blush in Rosewood. For eyebrows, I do not have a high-end brow pencil that I think is absolutely phenomenal. The ABH Brow Wiz is always a good one, but so is the Benefit pencils. I don't think there's anything that is so phenomenal you can't get it done at the drugstore. That being said, my absolute all-time favorite brow gel is from Rare Beauty, and this is the Flexible Lifting Gel. I just love this. This is my second tube of this. I love the way that this just locks my brows in place. It does have this tiny little spoolie, so it's not overpowering, because I have seen some brow gels that have a whole mascara wand on the end, and that's just too big for me. I love the tiny little one I get in here, and this just gives me just the right amount of hold without making it feel like I have a thick layer of glue in my brows. It doesn't make my brows crunchy or weird. It just holds them in place while also making them touchable and soft still. So I love this brow gel. When it comes to mascaras at Sephora, I will always tell you that the drugstore can do it just as well, but there are some mascaras that I just love above all else. I would say the Rare Beauty Volumizing Mascara is one of my top mentions. I don't have that one right now, but I love that one. But my all-time favorite mascara is definitely the YSL Lash Clash, and I am wearing this one today. I love this so much. I love the length and separation it gives my lashes while also giving me volume. It doesn't flake throughout the day, it doesn't smudge, it doesn't do anything bad. It just wears so beautifully all day long while maintaining that length and volume, and also separation. It just doesn't clump the way that a lot of others do. This is just such a fantastic mascara. I love it so, so much. Getting into eyeshadows, this one is really tough because I love eyeshadow. So first up, I do highly recommend the YSL quads. These are so good. I have mine in one of the new quads. This is over orange, and I really do like this as well. And I also have one of their classic quads in Store Dolls, which is definitely much more cool toned. I love these so much because, first of all, the packaging, much like the bronzer, it does have that plush packaging on the front, and then the formulas in here are just so good. So the mattes tend to be more of kind of like a cream to powder. They are so incredibly easy to blend, and they just melt into one another. They're so beautiful to work with. And then the shimmer is always the most iridescent, sparkly shimmer, but not too overpowering. So if you're looking for that more sophisticated formula that's going to be perfect to wear to work, but you also want a little bit of sparkle, I think these are so, so, so good. These are just such a beautiful formula. I have always said Natasha Denona has my very favorite eyeshadow formula. I would say these are right up there with it. I've always been pretty skeptical about luxury eyeshadows, particularly the Tom Ford quads, because I've heard those are very hit or miss. And just other brands that release these quads that are just, like I said, very hit or miss. And then I started hearing amazing reviews about these, and I get it because these are absolutely fantastic. I do always recommend Natasha Denona shadows as well. If you're in Canada, unfortunately, we can't get them at Sephora anymore, but I always do recommend Natasha Denona. And she doesn't always have the best sales on her website, so if you can shop from Sephora US, then I definitely do recommend any of Natasha's palettes. The I Need a Nude is one of my standout all-time favorites. This just has the perfect collection of shades that I love for every single day. I do also recommend her minis. I think these are a great way to try her formula without spending $69 whole. And I just think these are fantastic as well. The Mini Biba has long been a favorite of mine. I love these peachy tones. They're so beautiful and flattering. This year she also came out with the My Mini Dream, and this has also been a very fast favorite for me as well. Very recently I tried out the new ABH mini eyeshadow palettes in Sugar and Spice. These, I believe, are their holiday launch, but these palettes are fantastic. I did not know what to expect. I wasn't 100% sure that I would like these formulas as much as what is in They're larger palettes. I was sad that we didn't get a larger palette this year, but these really are fantastic. I am wearing Spice today. I just did a very simple halo eye with it, but I love these formulas. I will say if you order them online, be careful because the shimmers in here are very soft and they will break. Sugar actually pushes me out of my comfort zone a little bit, but in the very best way. I find it to be a very easy to work with formula. The mattes are so soft and buttery and easy to blend and work with. And the shimmers are so iridescent and sparkly and shiny. And same with the Spice palette, just so beautiful and easy to work with. I love both of these palettes. Whatever color story you prefer, you're not going to be disappointed. I absolutely love them both. Spice is, of course, our classic neutral brown color story that is just very beautiful and sparkly. Spice is what I like to call a colorful palette for neutral lovers. It's colorful but also safe. So I really do love this one as well. I would also be remiss if I did not mention the new Huda Beauty Icy Nude palette. I know this is very new. I just tried this, but this palette is absolutely fantastic. I love this so much. I love that I can create some very, very icy white silver looks. I can create some pink. I can create some brown if I want to. There are a lot of similarities with some of the other Huda palettes, particularly when it comes to the mattes, because she does have some standard mattes that she tends to stick with. But this palette is an absolute go-to. This is a fantastic, fantastic palette. The shimmers in here are so sparkly and impactful. They're so beautiful. The mattes are, as always, very easy to work with and blend. We have one shade in here that I don't love. That is the shade Bling, which is literally just a glitter. And it's just supposed to be a glitter topper. There's not really a base shade to it. But even that shade is usable for me. I think this is a fantastic palette. I am so sad that this is supposed to be her very last ever large eyeshadow palette, but it's fantastic. And the palette I am so shocked still that I love so much is from Danessa Myricks, and this is the Lightwork Freedom palette. I picked this up and I debated very heavily on whether I was going to review this. Ultimately, I decided to, and I love this so much. So just seeing this, yes, it is way too colorful. It's way more colorful than anything else I use, but I have spoken at length about how innovative this palette is. The way you can just take everything apart. This mirror pops out here and can be used as a lid for one of these 6 pans because they can be popped out. The individual shades can be popped out. This palette is so incredibly innovative. The shades themselves are so, so beautiful and fun. We have the most iridescent shades up here. We have a lot of sparkles in here, and we also have a lot of satin shades in here as well to sort of anchor everything down. So this palette is so fantastic. I really do want to get into creating a lot more looks with it. So I will definitely be doing that as well, particularly going into the holidays and having a lot of fun. If you're not someone who uses a lot of color, maybe you can definitely pass on this. I also don't use a lot of color, but from time to time, I do like to spice things up and play with color, especially when I'm filming. So I will definitely get a lot of use out of this, and the formulas in here are so special that I'm very tempted to play with it a lot. Finishing up with the lips, I have been absolutely loving the Sephora collection Rouge Gel Lip Liners. These are a really nice formula. First of all, these pencils seem longer than the average. They do have a sharpener in the end, but they're also retractable, so it's kind of like the best of both worlds. These are more of a gel formula, and they're so long wearing. When a gel liner dries down, it is budge proof, and these are just fantastic. I have the shade Rosewood, and I love this. One of the more long wearing formulas I have in my collection, and I really, really love taking out when I do not want my lip to move, is the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencils. I know they do have a set of these right now. This one is in Wherever Walnut. I also have Anywhere Caffeine, and like I said, these are a little bit more of a drier formula. They're not quite as dry and uncomfortable as a MAC lip liner, but they are a drier formula. So these are really going to make your lip very budge proof. So I do love those. This year I have also fallen in love with the new Lancome Idole Lip Shaper pencils. I have mine in Idole Nude. These are a very creamy pencil, but not so creamy like the Fenty lip pencils that are going to move everywhere and bleed into lines. This is just a really creamy, very comfortable lip liner formula. It's very beautiful and very, very comfortable, and it does dry down and give you a decent wear time, especially compared to that Fenty liner that I didn't love. But I also really, really love the Tower 28 one-liners. I think these are beautiful. I am wearing this one today actually with an ABH liquid lip. I absolutely love this formula too. The way their shades are designed, it's kind of always meant to mimic the natural lip. This is a pencil liner, but it's also very creamy like the Lancome, which is really interesting. But I wouldn't say it's as creamy as the Lancome, but it's definitely not as dry as the Makeup Forever. So it's somewhere in the middle, but it's still very, very creamy and comfortable to apply. Two liquid lipsticks I want to mention. We have from ABH, we have their Lip Velvets. They did come out with these this year. I think they just released a couple new shades with their holiday collection. This one is in the shade Kiss, and this is what I'm wearing right now. I love this because even though it is a liquid lip, I don't feel like it's sapping any sort of hydration out of my lips. It just feels very, very comfortable and lightweight. I really, really enjoy this formula. And it is, of course, very long wearing. The other formula I must mention is from NARS. This is their Air Matte lip color, and I have the shade Morocco. I picked this up because Taylor Swift's makeup artist leaked that this is the shade that Taylor uses. Taylor uses the Bullet lipstick, but this is the one I was able to pick up, and I love this formula. This is so comfortable. So this shade is like a warm cinnamon, so it's almost a red, but I would say it leans a little bit more orange, but not unflatteringly so. It's just a really, really beautiful shade. It's kind of like a nice dip if you're wanting to wear reds, but you're not quite there yet. This is a great shade, and I really love this formula. This is an incredibly comfortable, lightweight liquid lipstick formula. It doesn't fully dry down as much as the ABH, but it does still have a pretty solid wear time, and it also has that moussey consistency, which I do really enjoy. For bullet lipsticks, I always recommend the Natasha Denona formula. I love her formula so much. They're very creamy, very comfortable, very hydrating, but also pretty long wearing for a cream lipstick. I just always think these are fantastic. I love the shade Natasha. It's a perfect nude. I also love Amorosa if you're going for more cool tones. The shade Daphne has been a favorite pink of mine, so I really do love her formula. I also always recommend the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. I love these so much, especially her new Hollywood line that she released early this year. My favorite shade is Pillow Talk Fair, but she does have a lot of really beautiful, beautiful shades. There is something for everybody, and she just still has one of my favorite formulas. When it comes to lip balm formulas, the new Lancome Lip Idole Butter Glow is one of my absolute favorites. I also have this one in the shade Idole Nude. This one perfectly matches the lip liner that I mentioned earlier. This has also been such a go-to lip combo, that liner and this lip balm. Such a go-to combo because it's so easy but also very, very hydrating. And my all-time favorite lip balm that I discovered this year is from Ole Henriksen. This is the Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment. This is it for me. I love this more than any other lip balm that I have. First of all, this smells really, really good. It's a thicker formula, so it actually lasts a decently long time on the lips. It lasts far longer than any other lip balms I have, but it's also so incredibly shiny. So it's really a balm gloss hybrid, but it smells amazing, it feels amazing, and I feel like it's actually doing something for my lips. I just absolutely love this formula. I will definitely be purchasing more of these during the sale. I almost completely forgot to include my two favorite face palettes this year. The first of which is the NARS Pure Luxury Light Reflecting Cheek and Eye Palette. I love this. This is easily, in my opinion, one of the very best face palettes that they've done for holiday. I know they usually release their blush and highlight palettes, but I love that these are full face palettes this year, and I love that they have two different ones for different skin tones. The bronzer in here is surprisingly suitable for my skin. The highlighter isn't quite as blinding as I fully expected, and the three blushes in here are absolutely beautiful. I will say these formulas are more sheer buildable, so they're not intensely pigmented right away. This is the NARS baked jelly formula that we love so much. This first blush here is definitely a very glowy, very pink blush. These two are so perfect for every day in my opinion. I've used this so much, and I can see myself reaching for this one even more getting into the more summer months because it is a little bit more peachy, but I have absolutely loved this palette. I love that it really is a full face palette and it really gets it all done. I think the formulas in here are fantastic. I think the shades are fantastic, and I love that it is a little bit more of a buildable formula, so it's not intensely pigmented, but you can build it up to get what you need, and I do think it's absolutely fabulous. And the Hourglass palettes are also absolutely incredible. These are so good. I recommend them every single year. I love that you get blush, bronzer, highlight, and powder in here. It really is just a perfect full face palette. These are just so beautiful, and the Dragon palette I think might be my favorite ever palette. I love that they've started doing different palettes for the different skin tones rather than just one palette. Last year's Jellyfish palette was an all-time favorite, and I still absolutely love the highlighter, particularly in there. But this year's bronzer is definitely a little bit more cool tone, so I love it more for my skin. The powders in here are also very beautiful. The highlighter is a little bit more golden, which I don't love, but I still really like. And the blushes in here are beautiful. I love the blushes in the Jellyfish palette, but I also found that they're definitely a little bit more intense, whereas these are kind of like softer versions of what was in there. I love that we have a peachy blush and a beautiful soft mauve. I think they're such beautiful formulas. I've used this palette on repeat since I got it, and it's definitely one of my absolute favorites. But that is it. That was a very lengthy list. Like I said, I tried to combine some of my all-time favorite products with some newer products I've discovered recently, while also considering the products I'm reaching for the most. So keep in mind, if there are products that you know I really enjoy but I didn't mention in this video, they just didn't make the cut, but I probably still really love them. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Are you shopping the Sephora sale? Are you skipping it this year? What are your thoughts? I just love hearing from you guys so much. And I do want to say another huge thank you to Louisa for working with me once again on today's video and continuing to support my channel. Don't forget to click the link at the top of the description box if you're interested in shopping any of their pieces. But thank you as always to you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!